Hey everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Vicky.
And we're the Drama Mamas.
Yeah, we are.
And this week, we had a slight change of plans.
Little snafu.
A little bit. We had planned to do a midnight summer's rave.
Yes.
Midsummer Nights.
Midsummer Night's Rave.
Son
yes.
of a bitch. Midsummer Night's Rave.
Maybe that's why we couldn't find it.
I don't know. Luke was looking for it, so...
It was on my drive the first time you guys gave it to me.
Yeah, okay, so here's a fun little fact. Vicky and I were going to watch it together last night. So she comes over with McDonald's. Luke and two of his friends.
With McDonald's. Because that part is important to
It's all in the details. It's all in the details.
Okay.
So she comes over. Luke and his friends are in the kitchen. So we chat, and they're just like, oh, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we're going to watch A Midsummer Night's Rave for our podcast.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We mentioned the name of the movie no less than 3 times.
I was going to say 4.
Yeah. We say what we're watching several times. So we talk for about a half hour. They finally go downstairs. Vicky's finally done with her chicken nuggets.
I got the 10-piece and a large fry.
Well, you eat like once a day, so you got to make it count.
Well, I was really craving French fries. It was really good. Good.
We sit down, I pull up the stuff, and I can't find it. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe Luke just needs to refresh our server bullshit, whatever it is.
Right.
And so I go downstairs. I'm like, hey, do you need to refresh the stuff? And he's like, no, why? I'm like, because Midsummer Night's Rave, I can't find it. And he's like, oh, I couldn't find it either. What? Like, what?
Yeah.
So...
we tried to be effective last night because I cheated my way out of yoga and Sarah let me.
Yes. Vicky comes to my yoga class on Thursday nights.
I knew Vicky was
I did not miss my other daughter. My
only daughter.
My only. Are you going to marry Sage someday? Yes. High five. Yeah.
All right, good night.
Good night.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
What were we even talking about?
I don't fucking know. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So we attempt to find it again. It's not streaming anywhere. It's not attainable through any other means. So we grasp at straws trying to figure out what we're going to do instead. And we find
That's not Romeo and Juliet.
Right. Or Othello. I found like 3 different Othellos. And Taming of the Shrew. Those are all very popular. So we came across Cymbaline, which I never heard of.
I hadn't either.
And I was like, oh, what play is this based off of? And I Google it, and it's based off Cymbaline, which apparently is a thing. And it was really easy to find. It was a movie made in 2014, so we're doing that instead. And you should already know this if you follow us on Facebook or Twitter, because we're going to get that information out, yeah.
Probably.
So if you can find A Midsummer Night's Dream, let us know how you found it.
Midsummer Night's Rave.
Oh my God. Fuck that movie. So if you find it, if you found it and watched it, you let us know how you found it, and we'll do a bonus episode.
Sure, yeah. That'd be good.
Okay. So this week we are taking on Cymbaline. We say all of that to say this. We are taking on Cymbaline, in which we must interpret the bard.
Yeah.
Because they did not update the script, guys.
Oh my God.
Please silence your cell phones. Viewer discretion is advised. And now your feature presentation. So, lucky for me, this movie... I thought you were gagging, but no.
No.
All right, this movie was written and directed by the same person, which I thought he had balls.
Shakespeare?
Balls.
Is it written by Shakespeare?
To say that he wrote this movie, because for fuck's sake.
Plagiarism.
Yeah. Well, they did give Shakespeare some credit, but still.
They should have fucking been like, I directed this movie, and it was written by William Shakespeare.
Exactly. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. So it's written and directed by Michael Almereyda.
Almereyda?
It's Almereyda. Almereyda, I think.
Almereyda. Okay.
He has 26 directing credits beginning in 1985. Before this movie, he had directed the 2000 movie Hamlet, which starred Ethan Hawke. Okay. So they have work history.
So he steals from Shakespeare often.
Yes.
Okay.
I think he might be a fan.
Okay.
And since he had written and directed, he wrote and directed Hamlet. Yeah. So he also has a relationship with plagiarism.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the same thing where it's just the script set in modern day.
You just,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure what changed here.
And he also did The Experimenter after this movie.
Oh, wait, that's not Shakespeare.
No, it's not, but I did talk about it in Throne of Blood, because in 1957, that doctor was doing those social experiments to see how far you would go following authority when you're inflicting pain on someone else.
Yes, I remember that.
He wrote and directed that movie. The guy that directed this. So
I may give him a go.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch The Experiment. I think it's a movie that you should watch once.
Yeah.
But I probably will never watch it again. It's interesting. All right, so there's a lot of moving parts in this movie, but I feel like the story centers around Imogen and Posthumous.
Yeah, I kept wanting to be like posthumous.
Right? Like
and you're dead.
I've watched we listen to too many true crime podcasts.
Posthumous.
Yeah, posthumous. So that's who I looked up. So Dakota Johnson.
Well, you're better than me because most of the time, because they did not change the names, surprise, I just referred to them as like
the chick,
the princess, and her husband.
So, full disclosure, I only caught Posthumous's name through the whole movie. And then when I was doing the research, I was like, oh, her name was Imogen. Oh, this person was this. Yeah. So Dakota Johnson played Imogen. Imogen. All right. She's the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith. Yeah. And that always sticks out to me because I love Working Girl. The 1980s movie with Harrison Ford and Melanie Griffith and Sigourney Weaver.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
It's really good. It's about this girl who she's like trying to have a better life. She's a secretary and she has an idea. I think it's for like an investment firm. And she has really looked it up. She really thinks it's a good idea. And her boss tells her it's not the time for it, but secretly she takes it and she's using it.
Oh, what a bitch.
Yeah, but then she breaks her legs like fucking skiing or some shit. And so her secretary gets the call that she's actually following through with this. And so she just takes over as if she
had started it.
Yeah. And, you know, shit happened. And then she fucks Harrison Ford. Like,
nice.
I mean, it was the 80s. Great. We all would have.
I mean, I wasn't born yet, so maybe not.
But if you were in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, did I tell you about that conversation? I think I did in group chat where Zach and one of his friends and I were talking about when you should have been born. Yeah, Yeah. They were like, when would you have grown up? And they had, like, actual answers. And I was like, I just fucking go back to the 80s.
Fuck all the
beginning of the 80s, 18. They were like, why? And I was like, because I'm going to fuck Bon Jovi. I'm going to fuck Slash. I'm going to fuck a bunch of other big hair guys.
That's hilarious.
It's going down.
So Dakota Johnson has 28 acting credits. Her first credit was in 1999, so I was like, oh, she's been around for a while. Her second credit was in 2010.
Oh.
So she had a little break. But she was
how old was she in 1999?
Did not look that up.
Because it may have been like...
I think she was born in 89.
Okay, so she would have been like 10.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was in The Social Network, 21 Jump Street, and The 5-Year Engagement, which wasn't a big movie, but it is funny.
I was about to say, that's the only one that I hadn't heard of.
And since this movie, she's been in the 50 Shades movies, Black Mass, which is that Johnny Depp movie about Whitey.
Is she, I don't know her name, but the one that gets the subordinate in the 50 Shades movies?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Submissive.
Yeah, sure.
Know your terminology.
The subordinate. I'm like, today was my work anniversary, and I've got work on the brain.
And she was in How to Be Single, which, again, it's not a big movie, but I've seen it, so I mentioned it.
Okay.
It's all right.
I think I may have seen that. Potentially.
Posthumus is played by Penn Badgley.
Who's not ugly.
He is Dan from Gossip Girl.
I didn't watch that.
Okay,
but he's not ugly.
And he, like, rocks some V-necks in Gossip Girl. And he was rocking some V-necks in this movie, too. Yeah. I'm just like, is that just a Penn Badgley thing?
Maybe.
Is it a stipulation in his contract where he's just like, no, I must have the V?
He's like...
He doesn't. I don't think he has the V.
The collar of the shirt chokes me out, so it has to be a V-neck. Well, it has to be a V-neck or I'll choke.
It's just like, I don't have all this chest hair for no reason. It needs to be
I'm a man. Look at my man chest.
He has 32 credits beginning in 1999. He did not take a 10-year break.
Okay.
He was in 10 episodes of The Young and the Restless. He was in John Tucker Must Die.
Okay.
You know that movie?
I feel like I've heard of it. I don't know that I know it.
It's a teen movie, but I really like it. And he's in Easy A.
I didn't know that one.
Love that movie. Yeah, and, of course, Gossip Girl. He's Dan Humphrey.
Okay.
Since this movie, he has been in nothing I recognize, except for, I think, Parts Per Billion. But that wasn't a big movie. It's just a movie that I happen to have seen, and it wasn't that good. I don't recommend it. Mm-hmm. He is coming out with a series this year called You, and I'll probably look into it because I like his face.
Yeah.
Although he has like a very, and I say this about Sonya's son, Will. Mm-hmm. He has like a very poetic looking face, like he broods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could see that with Will.
Yeah, especially when he had long hair. Mm-hmm. I was just like, you should write poetry. Like, what are you doing?
Get an acoustic guitar.
Yes. 2014. Like, we're just going to coach him on how to get girls. Just like, you need a guitar.
I don't know that Sonya would appreciate that.
I don't know. This movie came out in 2014, which was a fucking bleak year for trivia, let me say. I was just, like, copying and pasting stuff, and it's all interesting, but I'm just like, man, this is some dark shit happened in 2014.
I don't remember 2014.
I didn't really remember much about 2014. I mean, Rory was a year old, so I had my hands full.
2014. I was working in a factory then. That was before I was in finance.
So, the missing Malaysian airliner vanished. That Malaysian flight that happened in 2014. It is. Wow. I had not heard anything about that in so long.
So long ago,
right? Well, because it was on the news like constantly.
Yeah, and then I don't even know if it was ever found.
It wasn't. I looked it up because I don't remember hearing about it being found. They found only debris, like 12 pieces of debris, and people refute that it is in fact from the plane. They're like,
I remember that because they were like, no, there'd be more.
Mm-hmm. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, look into some conspiracy theories about that flight. Because I only looked at, like, the first 3, and I spent, like, an hour. I was like, I don't have time for this shit.
So, before you look into conspiracy theories on that flight, finish listening to this episode.
Right. Listen to us first.
And then jump down the rabbit hole.
Pablo Escobar's personal hitman, John J. Velasquez, responsible for 3,500 murders,
Jesus Christ,
was released from jail in 2014 and is now a YouTube personality with 250,000 subscribers.
How did I miss this?
It's a fucking bleak year. Like, I don't even know what to think.
Like, what did you... Pablo Escobar's personal hitman?
Yeah, John J. Velasquez. He had a weird nickname, too. It was like... When you look it up, it'll be funny.
Hitman.
Oh my god, I remember.
Popeye.
Yes, that's what it was. I thought it was cartoony.
I love Popeye.
He's the sailor man.
Yeah. I used to watch Popeye with my pop-pop.
So, here's something else. I remember this being in the news, and I think I blocked it out. When the MV Seawall ferry started sinking in South Korea in 2014, the captain told the passengers, mostly secondary school students, to not move and just stay put. 304 passengers and crew members died in the disaster. This year sucks.
2014's fun.
In 2014, more people died in Mexico as a result of armed conflict than in Pakistan or Sudan, both regions with active military conflicts. Yeah. I mean, I think there's some brighter stuff later.
Is there?
I hope so. I remember just like when I was copying and pasting, I was like, oh my God.
We end up doing a movie from 2016. We're just like,
I don't want to talk about 2016.
This person died.
Michelle Carter.
This person died.
A 17-year-old girl was charged with manslaughter. Oh, I thought we could discuss this. Was charged with manslaughter for encouraging her 18-year-old boyfriend to commit suicide.
Oh, is that the one with the text?
Yep.
Yeah, last year or the year before.
Isn't she appealing
last year, she actually got
out?
No, I don't think she's gotten out.
I didn't do any further research because, like I said, at this point I was just depressed.
The last I heard was that she was found guilty.
Yeah, and
I'm not followed up.
What they charged her with was the fact that he texted her while he was killing, like, in the midst of the action of killing himself, and she didn't notify the authorities. That was what constituted manslaughter.
I thought that it was, and I could be totally wrong because it's from 2014,
mm-hmm.
but I thought that the reason she was charged wasn't because she didn't call for help, but because instead of doing so, when he had started to act like maybe he was changing his mind, she'd egged him on.
I mean, I read just a couple articles about it, and both of them just said that the reason she was charged was because she knew it was happening and didn't do anything to try to stop it. Like, she didn't call any of the, like, an ambulance or the police or anything, and that is what constituted the manslaughter charge.
I don't know. I remember being conflicted the whole time.
I mean, I don't think I have the most popular opinion, but...
No, I don't know. I feel like manslaughter is probably a bit heavy.
What else is there? Like, that's one of the lighter charges.
Right, I know.
Accessory to suicide?
Accessory to the fact. I don't know.
I mean...
I don't know enough about law. That's why we do movies and not true crime. Because we would have to know stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think that I have the most popular opinion, but it is my opinion, and I'm entitled to it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel like she should have gotten jail time.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like she's partially responsible for the outcome. But I think that knowing that and living with that is probably punishment on its own. But I did not, like I said, I didn't really follow that
I mean,
trial.
the texts that she was sending him were really fucked up. Like, she was just basically what it boiled down to was, like, for a very long time, he had been saying that he wanted to kill himself. And at first, she was just like, don't do that. People love you. People are relying on you. You have a family. People care. And he just kept, like, saying he wanted to kill himself. And at some point, she just stopped giving a fuck. And she was just like, well, if you're going to do it, fucking do it. Which I don't think was probably okay. But
I've been there. I've been there.
That's
I've known those people in high school who every other day they were going to kill themselves. And there are people, I don't know that they would be listening to this podcast or they would even remember me. But there are people that I went to school with that I did not know. This is back when MySpace was still a thing.
Right.
And so you would see
Stone
people's things by proxy.
Right.
And it was some guy that I didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
We went to school together.
Mm-hmm.
But, we weren't friends. And he had posted something. I couldn't tell you what it was. But it was something that I felt like he needed somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I messaged him and I was like, hey, man, I don't know you. But if you ever need to talk...
Mm-hmm.
we can talk because I'm not a total asshole. And we actually did talk a little bit, and he actually had the same class as me, like a period after. And so one day after that, he was like, hey, thanks for that, blah, blah, blah. And we never became friends because I am an asshole.
Right.
But there are other people, though, who would be like, all the time. It wasn't serious. It was attention grabbing.
Like, that's what it feels like sometimes. So that's why. And
when it's attention grabbing, your first instinct, my first instinct,
is to roll your eyes.
Is to be like, fucking do it then.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Don't kill yourself.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to kill themselves. It's just, it's hard to take some people seriously.
We should add the, whatever the suicide prevention number is at the end of this one.
Okay.
Be like, hey, if you need help,
BT does.
Please don't kill yourselves. Reach out to us.
The Trost family had to leave their $450,000 home in Weldon Spring, Missouri, after it was infested with 4,500 to 6,000 brown recluse spiders.
Oh my god!
And exterminators were not able to get rid of them.
Oh my god! You just burn the house down.
Yep.
You don't even burn that entire.
How does that even happen?
Oh my god!
I remember.
You can't even build a new house there. That land is done.
No,
that's like fucking poltergeist.
That's fucking Indian burial ground shit.
Yeah. No, fuck that.
Yeah,
fuck that.
Pass. South Korean Christians put up a Christmas tree visible from the North Korean border. North Korea responded by calling it a tool for psychological warfare and threatened to bomb it.
I don't know that I'm ever going to say this again, but I'm kind of with Noko on this one. Like, fuck your Christmas tree.
Vicky has a very special relationship with Christmas trees.
I hate it.
Charles Manson was granted a marriage license, but the wedding was canceled after it was discovered that 25-year-old Afton Elaine Starr, Burton, Starr is her nickname.
Yeah.
Only wanted to marry Manson so that she and a friend, Craig Greywolf Hammond, could... The Greywolf. I didn't read that before.
That's funny.
Could use his corpse as a tourist attraction after he died.
Yeah. They're going to put his ass in a museum.
Sure. Okay. An 8-year-old
Brett,
boy...
people would go.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people would go.
I listened to like a 10-part series on Charles Manson. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, you sent it to me. I listened to it.
It was good, right?
It was good.
An 8-year-old boy named Tyler Doohan saved 6 members of his family from a burning house before finally succumbing to the fire himself while trying to save the last victim, his disabled grandfather.
Oh my god.
8 years old.
Oh my god.
This year sucks. So far, Comcast has won the Worst Company in America award twice. First in 2010, second in 2014.
Yeah.
When James Brady, the man paralyzed by a gunshot wound from the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt, died in 2014, it was ruled a homicide 33 years after the incident.
Wow. You know what? I think I remember seeing that.
That's something else I think is kind of bullshit. During a concert, Kanye West halted the performance of Good Life due to not the entire audience standing. The person he signaled out was in a wheelchair.
What's that Kanye 2020 looking like?
I mean, okay. In 2014, Betty White was awarded the Guinness World Record for longest TV career for an entertainer female with a 1939 debut.
And she fucking earned it.
Yep.
She's still earning it.
The U.S. murder rate in 2014 is less than half of what it was in 1990 and far lower than the 70s and 80s.
That doesn't surprise me.
Google became more valuable than Russia's entire stock market in December 2014.
That also doesn't surprise me. Sorry, Russia.
Original top model winner Adrienne Curry fended off an attacker with a bull whip while dressed as Catwoman at San Diego Comic-Con. Wow.
I remember when she won. Yeah.
Oh, I loved her.
Yes.
And it was just like, it boiled down to her and the med student.
Yeah.
Who I didn't mind.
I didn't either, but when I watched it again...
She was kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
she definitely thought she was too good to be there.
Yeah. She's like, I'm smart.
Yeah.
All these girls are stupid. I'm smart and I'm pretty.
One of my favorite things in that entire season was this one girl was so sick of Adrienne Curry referencing Jay and Silent Bob. And like, she's like, if she fucking says Jay and Silent Bob one more fucking time, like, I'm going to throw her off the goddamn roof. Hilarious. So funny. Early one morning in St. Petersburg, Florida, a Starbucks drive-thru customer decided to pay for the next customer's order, which ignited an 11-hour-long pay-it-forward chain that lasted from 7 a.m. and ended at 6 p.m. later that evening when customer number 379 declined to participate. So I think we can all agree that customer 379 is a dickwad.
Yeah.
I mean... I've never had the pay it forward benefit me, and I've never done it myself.
Some point in the last 3 years, because I was working where I currently work, went through the Starbucks drive-thru, and I was having a really shitty morning. And the car in front of me, there's no way they could have known. Like, it was just fucking looking at my phone in the drive-thru, waiting my turn. And I get up there, and I hold up my phone because I have the app.
Because you're not a savage.
Because I'm not a savage. I need the stars, man.
Right.
And they were like, oh, that guy paid for you. And I was like, oh, shit. Like,
that's really cool.
What? But I did not pay it forward.
Well, there was
nobody behind me.
And I think I've seen a skit like on SNL or something about this. Is like when that happens and you want to pay it forward, and I'll get the next guy, and then they have like a $300 order or some shit, and you're like, oh.
You're like, actually.
I do think it's cool when people like pay with a 20, and they're just like, let this pay for everything it can. Yeah. Like I could do that.
Yeah.
I haven't
because
I'm a selfish bitch, but
I just like money too much to let it go, and I don't carry cash.
I love this next bit of trivia.
Okay,
it makes me so happy inside.
Sad?
It's not.
Okay.
As of 2014, only 2 artists have had their first 2 singles reach number 1 and number 2 on the Billboard charts. The first is the Beatles.
Okay.
Can you guess the second?
You're grinning like it's you, but it's not.
It's not me. IGGY is Iggy.
Iggy Azalea?
Yes!
No
that makes
shit.
me so happy.
No
She's
shit.
so fancy.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah. There were a lot of parody videos to that. And I really dug the video because of her Clueless vibe.
Yeah.
But
it was really cute.
That's the only song that I could.
IGGY. Oh, are you kidding me? I went through this phase where, like, I was listening. She has this song, There's a Party on Your Face and I'm About to Dance on It. It's with Steve Aoki.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's really funny. And then she has another one that she does with, I want to say, T.I., and the video is really weird because it's about, like, toddlers and tiaras. And
okay,
it's really funny, though.
Okay.
Like, I went through, and I was always sending them to Sarah, my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is hilarious. You should watch this. Like, I genuinely liked it.
You're like the reason she doesn't answer her phone anymore.
Yeah, it's me. I used to send her all kinds of shit all the time, and now she's just like,
looking at it.
No, it's not worth it. Sarah's ruined it for me.
Not looking at it.
Anyway, in 2014, only 7 humans were killed by sharks, while an estimated 63 million sharks were killed by humans.
Aww.
The Simpsons guy, the 2014 crossover between The Simpsons and Family Guy, was described by one critic as a, quote, blight on humanity itself, end quote.
Yeah, that sounds fucking stupid.
The Oscar winner in 2014 was 12 Years a Slave. I have not seen it.
No.
The highest grossing films that year were Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Okay.
The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies.
Yep.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. And there was no movie trivia. It was all boring shit that nobody cares about.
Nobody cares about.
Yep.
Okay.
So now that I've talked for like 50,000 minutes.
Do you just want me to do a summary of the play since the movie is basically the play?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Because, I mean, it is.
Yeah, well, it's basically literally the script.
Yeah.
Of the play.
It really pissed me off.
Like, I watched it for 5 minutes, and it's, okay, it's one of those things where I can understand Shakespearean English. To a point, yeah. So,
and it's much easier when you're reading it.
And it is much easier because you can process it in your own way, and you're not having to put someone else's inflection on it. Because when I read Shakespeare, I just read the words, I figure out what they mean, and then I put the inflection on it. Yes.
Me too.
I watched it for like 5 minutes, and it was like one of those things. It was late at night. Yeah. I'd had a full day,
and I was that late. I didn't.
It was a little late for me because I also intended to finish up *Halt and Catch Fire*, so like I knew I was going to be up for at least an hour and a half past this.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, and I did finish it, and it's amazing, guys. So I it was playing for like 5 minutes, and it was one of those things where like I was staring at the screen, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Right? You're like, where are the subtitles?
Yeah. I text Vicky, and I was like, this is legit Shakespeare.
She said these guys are doing legit Shakespeare right now.
Yeah.
And
straight.
so
They're straight
talking Shakespeare. And so Luke was here with his friends
Yes.
when I left. And it takes me, I don't know, 20-ish minutes to get home, give or take. And so I get home, and she's sent it about 10 minutes prior. And I was like, ha, 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 that's hilarious. Because I thought she was talking about the guys. And then I was like, oh, wait. You mean the movie?
Yeah, I'm like, it's not fucking hilarious. It's horrible.
And then she thought it was funny because that'd be legit funny.
All right,
drove my ass back over here for that.
Yeah, didn't you ask for a video?
Yeah.
Just like record that shit.
That's when I realized you were like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, didn't you get it on your damn thumb?
Yes. All right. So, Cymbaline is a play by Shakespeare set in ancient Britain and based on legends that formed part of the matter of Britain. So, the summary is the daughter of the British king. Like I said, I didn't use any fucking names because I figured they'd be different names in the movie.
Nope.
And it wouldn't matter. But it does, I guess. Oh, well. So, the daughter of the British king goes against his wishes to marry his oaf of a stepson and marries a low-born gentleman. The stepson is the son of the new queen, a vile woman who has made the king her puppet. The king sends his son-in-law to exile in Italy. I'd like to be exiled to Italy.
Right.
Where he encounters a smooth-tongued Italian that argues that all women are naturally unchaste and bets him that he can seduce his wife.
Best character ever.
Yep. The Italian goes to the British court and, failing in his initial attempt to sleep with the princess, resorts to trickery. He hides in a large chest, has it sent to her room, slips out while she's sleeping because he's a fucking creep.
Yes.
And steals a bracelet given to her by her husband. He continues to pursue the princess, but she tells him to back off. He can't take no for an answer and vows revenge while she's concerned about the loss of her bracelet. Meanwhile, he returns to Italy, displaying the bracelet and his stolen knowledge of the princess's bedroom, convinces her husband that he stuck it to her.
Now, didn't bracelets way back in the day, weren't they the equivalent of wedding rings? Like, didn't people wear bracelets like wedding rings? Okay.
I'm not sure, but that sounds good. Her husband, angry at the betrayal, sends a letter to his servant because he was too poor for the princess, but not for servants.
Right.
Asking that he murder the princess. The servant doesn't believe the princess to be a whore and convinces her to dress up as a boy and seek her husband out while he reports back to her husband that she's been murdered. On her way, she gets lost and comes upon a cave where an unjustly banished nobleman lives with his two sons, who are actually the king's, but the nobleman kidnapped them to avenge his banishment, though the boys aren't aware of their lineage.
That is a subplot that was glossed over.
In the movie?
In the movie. Like, I did not understand. Yeah, I'm sure they did, but I still didn't understand what was happening.
I probably wouldn't have understood if I hadn't already written the summary of the play. That helped me a lot with the movie. Especially since it was the exact same fucking thing.
Right.
Let's see, blah, blah, blah. The stepbrother comes in pursuit of the princess and is killed by the nobleman. That's a difference.
No, it's not. He was killed by the nobleman?
Yeah.
Posthumous?
No. He'd have been the not dad, the black guy in the movie.
Ah, okay. All right, I'm with you.
Okay. He's killed by the nobleman. The princess drinks a potion given to her by the queen because she's a dumb bitch. She thinks it's medicine. The queen thinks it's poison. It's just a really powerful sleeping potion.
Yeah, which is popular in Shakespeare.
Yeah, I was about to say, as it always seems to be. She awakens next to her stepbrother and initially thinks he's her husband. Meanwhile, a Roman army...
It's a common mistake. We've all done it.
Right? Like, oh, yeah. This is in Alabama. What? Meanwhile, a Roman army has invaded Britain as Britain stopped paying Rome to leave them alone. Mm-hmm. The princess hires herself on as a messenger. The Italian and her husband are traveling with the Roman army, but once he's able, the husband changes into British peasant garb and begins fighting valiantly for Britain. He wants to die as he feels guilty for having his wife murdered. The Romans are defeated and her husband switches back to Roman garb as he wants to be punished.
All right.
It's messy. That night, the god Jupiter, who is the Roman Zeus.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, promises the husband's dead ancestors that he will care for their descendant. The next day, the king calls the prisoners before him and everything is sorted out. Husband and wife are reunited and they forgive the Italian who admitted to his guilt. The king's sons' identities are revealed. The nobleman is forgiven. The evil queen dies and the king releases the prisoners and agrees to keep sending checks to Rome.
So for this to be a Shakespearean tragedy, nobody good died.
Yeah, nobody good died.
Which is, I'm fine with.
Yeah, I'm totally good with it.
Okay, here's the thing that really pissed me off about this movie. If they had updated the language.
Yes! I would have really enjoyed it.
I think I would have really enjoyed it too. Like, the movements of the plot were good. The relationships and motivations of the characters made sense.
I knew there was a reason we were friends.
Like,
I was so irritated the whole fucking time I watched it because I was like, this is stuff that I would normally like.
Yes. Like, I loved the fact that it was a biker gang.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, we watched the movie. Mm-hmm. We've read the plot summary.
Yes.
This is the tagline on IMDb. A gritty story of a take-no-prisoners war between dirty cops and an outlaw biker gang. A drug kingpin is driven to desperate measures.
Yeah.
Doesn't even mention Imogen.
No.
Or, like,
and that's like literally the whole story is because of them.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for them, nobody would care.
Yeah. That'd be like talking about Romeo and Juliet is about two families that can't get along, and so war breaks out. You're kind of missing some stuff.
Yeah. Like, they don't get along, and why did war break out?
Yeah, like, it doesn't... Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
When I picked this movie out, because I found it, and I was like, this sounds really interesting.
You did. We were, like, simultaneously Googling. We were like,
yeah, we're like, oh, shit, we gotta find some
play.
But when I read that, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Yeah. And the movie still was interesting. But it
was fucking irritating.
It was like you were watching it in a different language that you kind of understood. Because it's English, and I'm not saying that I don't feel like I'm dumb for not being able to, like, just take it in. Because, like, that...
No, I don't feel like you're dumb, because I feel the same way, and I don't feel like I'm dumb. Like, I put in my notes that sometimes it felt like the actors didn't entirely understand what it is they were saying, so the whole thing comes across as half-assed.
Yes.
Like, there were parts where I knew what they were trying to say, but the way they said it, their tone and their inflection didn't not, like, wherefore, whatever the doctor said to the queen.
Normally, when the movie started, they start with, like, these background information, which typically I'm not a fan of. I love Star Wars, but still, I don't like that whole, like, I'm telling you what's happening so that you'll understand it. I prefer stories that drop hints.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of, like, put the pieces together to understand how these characters interact. And so when it first started, I was like, oh, God, they think we're stupid. Then they started speaking Shakespeare, and I'm like, thank God they fucking did that, or I would have no idea what's going on. Okay. So, yeah, what scenes do you want to discuss? Because...
Oh, I know. At the beginning of the movie, you see the princess sneak off under the bleachers with who we know is her husband. Which her dad seems to have no respect for. He's just like, no, you're not married. No. Yeah. No. He's like, nope. I'll kill you. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing, like, I just feel like if they had updated the language, it would have made more sense. It would have been such a better movie. It would have been a badass movie. Yeah. Like, even with the language, there are several times in my notes where I was like, this is stupid. This is fucking stupid. But at the end of the movie, like, I went downstairs and Zach was like, oh, did you just finish it? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, how was it? And I was like, well, it ended up being okay, because he knew how fucking irritated I was the whole time.
It was like, it felt like a waste.
Yeah. Fucking 2014, it's modern Shakespeare.
Bikers and
guns and drugs.
And the cops, like, them basically telling the cops to fuck off. And
yeah, that didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well,
it did, but it didn't.
Yeah, there were some weird, like, motivations. One of the scenes...
It could have made sense if they had updated the language.
Yes.
But with the language
changes.
It was...
Minimal changes.
It didn't fucking... They mentioned Caesar.
Yeah.
They mentioned Caesar.
By name.
It doesn't fucking make sense.
He was looking at her internet browser history while speaking Shakespeare.
Oh my god, yeah. I fucking put in my notes. I was like, they're using Google Maps, but they can't speak modern English.
One of the scenes that really drove me insane was when Ethan Hawke is trying to convince Dan from Gossip Girl.
Dan from Gossip Girl.
Posthumous. That he fucked his wife.
Yeah.
For one thing, he believes him really quickly. Because he's just like, I did it. And he's like, I don't know. And then he's like, he gives him something first. He shows him a picture of her sleeping first. And he's just like, I don't know. This could have been taken by a servant. Like, nobody said that you took this picture.
Right.
Like, you can't prove that you took the picture. Then he gives him his bracelet that he gave to her.
Yeah.
And then he just buys it. And the second guy that's there, he's just like, you know.
He's like, no, a servant could have taken that.
Anyone could have taken that, too.
She could have misplaced it.
Yeah, and he's just
That's
like,
not
you're
proof.
you're right. No. She definitely fucked him. Like, it was really annoying.
Then he's like,
he didn't
she's
even have
got
to
a
show
mole underneath her titty.
But he already believed it before he told her that.
Yeah.
Like, it was unnecessary for him to even say it.
But then he was like, he was done.
Yeah.
He was fucking done. I felt really bad for him in that moment, too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Although I thought that his character drew the conclusion too quickly, he really sold it to me.
Yeah.
Like, he looked like he was losing his mind.
Yeah.
Like anyone would if they found out their spouse was cheating on them or cheated on them.
You'd think. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he's not ugly. Like,
he's not ugly.
He's
not ugly.
He looks a little frail.
He does look a little
like
frail.
a little frail, but
I think that may have been because he had like this soft cast on his arm the whole time, and I don't know if that was part of his character or if the actor had actually
he was on a
fucked up his
skateboard,
arm.
so it's possible he fucked himself up.
So I'm not sure.
He looks. I think it's just like his bone structure or something.
Oh yeah, he had a pretty face.
Yeah, and like just
good lines,
clean lines. Yeah. And he's got that like curly hair that you just want to like touch.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah. Did you notice that they were referring to their guns as their swords?
Yes.
That made me so mad.
It reminded me of that the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. Because they say mine sword or whatever, but then when they pull out the gun, it has like sword chiseled into the gun, which is fucking hilarious.
Right, and that they could have done something along those lines, and I would have been like, okay, I'll give that to you. But to just fucking have guns, like not just fucking certain guns, all the guns.
Now, obviously, this is Shakespeare. They took the script, they acted out the script, so there's not a lot of changes that they were obviously going to make, but John Leguizamo's character was the servant, the lackey who was, like, going back and forth and they didn't kill her. Yeah. I think it would have been an interesting character note for him to have played his character as if he were in love with her. Because he's still doing all these things that probably would kill him to do if he were in love with her, but he's doing it because he loves her and he wants her to be happy. Yeah. And that would explain why he didn't kill her, why he gave her a plan of action, why he was always on playing both their sides. Yeah. Like, I just think that small change would have made for a very interesting...
Right.
Because it didn't really make sense why he was doing what he was doing.
No, because he gave her the medicine that the medicine.
Right.
From the queen.
That's another thing. If he was in love with her and the queen's just like, oh, she needs this medicine.
Right.
He wouldn't question it.
He'd be like, okay.
Yeah, she needs it. I will make sure she has it.
Yeah. I'll be like, this is really important.
Exactly.
Take this.
I just think that would have been a small thing to change that would have explained a lot about his character.
Yes. I said I wouldn't pay the queen to sing.
No.
And she sang for a long time.
A really long time. And the vet guy did not like that bitch.
No.
It wasn't clear why. But he really did not like her.
No.
And I love at the end where he's just like, oh, I forgot to mention. And since this is the Shakespearean script, that I have to believe that William Shakespeare was writing it and had gotten to the certain point, and then he realized there was a plot hole.
And he's like, fuck!
Yeah, he's like, I need this guy to clear this up. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention. It's very Scooby-Doo-esque.
Yeah, I feel like he was like, to the actor, he was like, just be like, sassy. Oh, yeah.
BT
By the way, the queen was trying to kill her ass.
Right, yeah. Oh, my
And
God.
you'd be like, oh, fuck the queen.
Yeah, and
Glad you're
son.
dead. Oh my God. The whole time, I'm glad that, like, when it showed he was dead on the screen, they were like, meth prince, beheaded in war, drug war. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad somebody said that he looked like he was fucking addicted to something, because I thought he was heroin the fuck out.
Yeah, when he was, like, touching himself to his rape fantasy.
I don't know how I missed that.
Okay, when he was searching her room.
Oh,
and
when he found, like,
talking,
the red shirt.
Yeah, and he's just like, I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to fuck her on his body. Like, that's basically what he was saying.
Weird.
And he was, like, touching himself. I was like, the hell are you doing,
weird.
bro?
And then he wore his shirt. That's why, like, she unwrapped. She just saw his shirt because his head was gone.
And it was the shirt that she had.
Yeah. And it was just a fucking red shirt.
But we all knew, like...
Right, but I was like, bitch, he's not the only one who's got a red shirt.
Well, I did, like, I don't know that I put it in my notes, but Anton Yelkin, I think that's how you say his name, he is built very similarly to Dan Humphries. That's not his real name. Penn Badgley. Like, he will always be Dan Humphries.
Husband.
He is Gossip Girl, like, spoiler alert. Okay. But they're built very similarly. Yeah. So, like, I figured that it normally would be something that would annoy me. Right. But he was decapitated. Yeah. And they're built very similarly, and he was wearing his shirt. Yeah. And it was pretty clear that he was looking for her. Yeah. So and they buried them together.
Buried.
Well, you know what I mean.
Ish. I'll concede to that, because when I was doing the summary of the play, I was like, how did she think that it was him?
Mm-hmm. They are, like, I noticed that.
But since his fucking head was gone, I was like, oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Fuck. Oh! The nobleman. The banished guy.
Right.
And the king's 2 sons.
Right, that was convenient. And I love how nobody mentions that he had... if they did, I missed it. That he has sons that are missing.
I like that nobody's fucking noticed that this super black guy has these 2 Elmer's glue white-ass babies. And he's like, yeah, I'm their dad. And
Did
nobody's
he
like...
I'm their dad?
Yeah.
I must have missed that too.
He said, they think that I'm their father. Bitch,
he did
they think that you're their father? You raised some dumbasses.
They're very, like...
Because you are not going to get that shade of glue from that shade of black.
Yeah, they were dumb.
They were dumb. They were dumb.
Yeah, it was just super convenient that they were just like, oh, and here's your 2 missing sons.
Also...
Yeah, BT dubs.
I stole them because you told me to go away.
There's a lot of by the ways in this.
Right. Shakespeare just wrote it for somebody, and he's like, by the way, fuck you. And also, fuck your bitch, too.
Okay, like,
I love
understand.
Ed Harris.
Just in general?
Yeah.
Or have you watched Westworld?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so good in that.
He is so good in that. I don't think I knew who Ed Harris was before Westworld, and now I'm just like, he's so great.
I always think
he
of...
plays bad well.
He does. I always think of Stepmom, because he's the dad in Stepmom that divorces Susan Sarandon. And,
oh, that's a much younger Ed Harris.
yeah, but he's still got those dimples.
Yeah.
Hard to miss.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
It is. I still cry.
I've not watched it in a long time.
Oh, so Posthumous and Imogen both have a habit of smelling each other's clothes.
I didn't notice that.
She, like, legit, she just lays his shirt on her face and, like...
Well, it's because she misses it.
Yeah, and then when he gets the sweater that's bloody, that's supposed to convince him that she's dead, he puts it in his face, and I'm just
because he misses her, and it smells like that.
Okay, here's my biggest problem with this movie, other than the fact that he believed that she fucked that guy.
Than the fact that it's in fucking Shakespearean.
We're putting that completely aside.
No, we're not. They fucking talk like Yoda.
So, the thing that I think is the most unbelievable about this movie is how quickly they forgave each other.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she forgave him, because honestly, what does he have?
She didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything.
Nothing. And she
needs to forgive him for, one, believing that she would fucking fuck somebody else.
And two,
having her killed for it.
Exactly.
The fuck?
One scene that I do not understand.
Okay.
At all is the scene where the police bring him in and show him all the pictures.
Yeah, it was the meth head son head. The meth son head.
Yeah, they'd found it.
I didn't realize in the moment when I was watching it, I was like, whose fucking head is this?
Yeah, it was the stepson.
I just put it together.
Like, I don't understand why they brought him in.
I think maybe they were trying to see if he had done it.
But they just let him go.
So they'd said something like...
They hit him with a fucking car, by the way.
They did. They hit him with a fucking car. What the hell
is happening?
Maybe that's why he had a fucking soft cast on his wrist the whole time. They'd said something along the lines, they threw down the pictures, and when he was like, what the fuck is all this?
He did look like he was figuring something out. Like, I don't know if he meant to play it that way, but he, like, maybe he just has a thoughtful face because it's so pretty. But it seemed like he was putting something together, and I didn't understand what.
See, to me, he looked confused as to what they wanted from him.
Well, I was also confused.
And then they said something like, that's all the work we need from you. Mm-hmm. For now.
It didn't make sense. And then Ethan Hawke picks him up.
And so I thought maybe, yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're buddies now? Like, what?
Yeah.
I also didn't understand why he made the bet.
I did understand why he made the bet.
$10,000, right?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't so much the money. It was, how dare you speak against my woman.
It's not good enough. That is not a good enough.
Well, it's Shakespeare.
Yeah, but like
1600s. How dare you say she's unchaste?
Yeah, but why would that be yours? How dare you say she's unchaste? You go try to fuck her. Like, what?
Well, I don't think it was like a huge... I think it was more like he was so sure that she would not fuck him. Mm-hmm. And she didn't.
No.
That he was like, try it.
Yeah, that's not okay with me. I'm just like, that's...
Well, I mean, if... Bringing it to our own lives, if somebody thought that they could and told Zach that they thought that they could, and he was like, go try it, she's not gonna fuck you, and I found out,
would you be upset?
I would be so mad.
Yeah.
Don't fucking...
I can't even imagine a world...
I wouldn't do it, but how dare you even put, like... money on it.
Yeah. It didn't make sense to me. I was like, I don't understand why.
I get it in the context of the movie in Shakespeare. But now, if my husband did it, I would kill him.
If they had translated it into modern language. Mm-hmm. And that scene, if we had established that he was in dire need of cash.
Yeah. Like to get her out or something.
Yes. For them to run away together. He needed a certain dollar amount. This runs into this guy at a bar. He's talking about the love of his life. And he's just like, no, women are whores. And he's just like, not my woman. And he's just like, oh, you want to wager it? Like, no, I don't want to wager it. And he's just like, I'll give you 10 grand. Like, I'll put 10 grand on it. And suddenly his attention. Yeah. Like, he has his attention.
That would make more sense.
To me. And maybe that's what happened. And I just didn't understand it. But, like, it just felt really sudden and out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But
I'd go with that. I mean, like I said, I understand it in the context of Shakespeare, but I do agree with you that it would have been better. The whole movie, if they had just fucking modernized the language,
I probably could have gotten past all the other stuff.
Yeah, I probably would have been like,
I honestly feel
that's
like
irritating, but
I kind of like the story, and I kind of like the fact that it's set with the biker gang and the cops and all that. I kind of dug that. I just couldn't get past the...
No. There was a language
these
barrier.
And thous. Yeah.
Hark.
Worse than... You know what they should do? They should put subtitles with modern language.
They should.
Because
that's why I was like, where are the subtitles? I almost was like, oh, I have to turn the subtitles on. And then I was like, literally, I had that thought.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what the fuck does it matter? It's just going to say what it's saying.
Like, the first few scenes are silent because they're showing, like, what's happening in the future.
Yes.
And there's, like, maybe voiceover or something. They had those lines. Yeah. And then, like, the scene with them under the bleachers. And I'm just watching them, like, and they have pretty decent chemistry. And they're, like, kissing a lot.
And then all of a sudden...
And I'm like, what are they saying? What is happening?
You're like, what is this language they're saying? I don't understand that. I restarted the movie.
And the fact that
I had to restart the movie so my brain could process what they were saying, because I was like, wait, I've lost too much.
The fact that the king just decides to pay taxes again makes this entire, like, war meaningless.
Yeah, like, in the play, and they could have fucking done it this way, because he's, like, the mafia, drug lord, biker gang, whatever. He could be paying off the cops to leave him alone. He could have done that. They could have played it that way. It would have made sense.
The cops are like, this isn't enough. Or maybe the cops fail to do something that was in their agreement. And he's just like, no, I'm not fucking paying you anymore.
Like,
and they're like, oh, you're not going to pay us?
Yeah.
Then we're really going to crack down on you.
Yeah.
Then there's a war.
It would have made sense.
Totally.
In fucking the play, they were paying off Rome just to leave them alone.
Right. To not invade.
But with the cops, you already have to establish. That that's what's being done. Well, I'm sure they were,
because that's what the IMDb summary says.
Yeah, I feel like they tried to
make it taxes. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like taxes.
It didn't feel like taxes to me. It felt like they were dirty cops, but I feel like they should have
made it clearer,
spelled it out, because. With the language used, that's probably why it felt like taxes to you. Because I'd already done the fucking summary, and so I knew it was a payoff.
The queen being the villain, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
And she loved her son so much that you could have used that motivation to justify some of the things that she was doing in some way. But they didn't. It was just like, she does it because she's evil. And, oh, by the way, she also loves her son so much that when he died, she killed herself. Like, I felt like those two things
when I did the summary, that was another thing. I was like, how does she die? Because I didn't listen to the play.
Yeah.
I found it today. Well, I may have found it today. I'll share what I found. But I'm not entirely sure, because it was only like
just
half
watch
an hour.
the movie. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But they could have... Shakespeare, the bard, could have put those two things together, because she loved her son so much that when he died, she fucking killed herself.
Right.
So that is a strong love, a strong bond that could motivate some of her shadier, shiftier dealings.
Right.
But it's not. She does that stuff because she's evil, and also she loves her son. Like, I personally felt like those two should have been connected from a narrative point of view.
From a writer point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't claim to be a good writer, but I do write, so.
I know, I read your stuff. I didn't give you very understandable critique from the other night.
Yeah, you're just like, I took my medicine.
It was like, I read it all, and I was interested, and I wanted more. I don't remember what I read. I can't tell you what more I want.
Well,
but I did want more.
You tell me.
I'll probably, at some point, I'll reread it, and then I'll send you, like, actual stuff.
So, if you like Shakespeare, like, if you understand what's being said when you listen to Shakespeare.
No.
Then
I enjoyed this
would
movie.
have really liked this movie so much more.
Yeah.
If it had just been updated.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a bad movie.
No.
I wouldn't discourage anyone from watching it, but I don't think I would recommend anyone.
I feel like if you want to be introduced to, what is this, Cymbaline?
Cymbaline?
Cymbaline? Cymbaline, Ovaltine. Cymbaline. Ovaltine. Yeah, that's where my brain was. I would probably say just watch the play. Because it's the same words, and it's probably going to make more sense in that context.
Yeah,
but if
I
you
really did like
dirty
it.
cops,
yeah, I really liked the
biker bits and murder. It's not a bad movie.
It's not bad, but it's not great either.
I can't recommend it.
It is on Amazon Prime. I'll put that on the thing. Who is your MVP?
I'm gonna go with Ed Harris.
Because you like Ed Harris?
Yeah.
I am going to go...
But really, the best part of the movie was the end.
Yeah.
Like, not like the credits rolling, but the end. Like, the last 10 minutes.
I think that my MVP would be the undercover prince that killed the stepson.
Okay, yeah.
Because I was over his ass.
Yeah.
Real quick. And when he finally got...
Oh, yeah, no. He was like, do you know who I am? I'm the queen's son. He was like, bitch, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Oh, it was kind of awesome because I wrote in the notes. Because they cut away and you hear the gunshot. And I'm just like, oh, well, he killed one of those guys. That was in my notes. And then when they go back, I'm like, wait a second.
Nope.
Twist. Like, I was not expecting him to die.
Yep.
Because he was so fucking evil. I was like, he's going to kill everybody. That's what's going to happen. It's Shakespeare.
Yep. Nope. Okay,
so we've gone over our MVPs. So I think that's pretty much everything we need to discuss.
Yeah, there's not... Oh! Did you catch when Obama was on the
screen? Yes.
They had to
It made me a little nostalgic.
Shit. Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, Obama... And then I was like, oh, they turned the volume down because his ass wasn't fucking speaking Shakespearean.
Right? So, thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for your reviews that have been coming in. Those are cool.
We're very excited.
If you guys like listening to us, if you could leave us a review so more people could find us.
That'd be
because that's
sweet.
how iTunes configurates things.
You can reach us directly on social media. We are on Facebook, the Drama Mamas Podcast. Gmail, you can send us an email if you want, dramamamaspodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Twitter, @dramamamaspod.
Yes.
And is that...
I think that covers it.
Sweet. So, as always, remember to save the drama.
For these mamas...
Next week on the Drama Mamas.
I was like, hold on, my brain has just fucking exploded all over my skull.
My brain is melting out of my ears right now.
Can you repeat that? Because I just Googled Bette Midler and it did not have him listed as
in the
her
movie.
child.